happy Monday everybody. Welcome to today's video. So last week we started to talk about the Wheel of Life and we're going to continue with that this week. If you didn't see last week's, you might want to go and watch that before you watch this one, otherwise this one might not make sense. So we were looking at the Wheel of Life and we were starting to establish the different areas of your life and how happy and content and fulfilled and good and positive you feel about each segment. Okay, so we're going to dive into this a little bit more today. So excuse my dodgy drawing. So we looked at the Wheel of Life last week. Okay, so this is just kind of a revamp, just so you can kind of capture what we were talking about once again. So on the Wheel of Life we have 6 areas of our life that we were looking at, that we started to talk about, like pillars of our life. So the first one we've got here is physical, which if you do want to do this exercise and you want to colour it in, you can colour it in orange. You don't have to, you can just use a pencil. The second one we had is financial, and again, if you wanted to colour this segment in as we go through, then yellow would be good. Then we had intellectual, which is blue. Then we had emotional, which is red, so we had that segment down there. Then we had social, which is green down there. Spiritual, which is purple just there, and then back up to physical. So that is what the Wheel of Life looked like from what we were talking about last week. They are the colours, if you want to partake in this exercise and you want to colour in your segments, they're the colours you can use. Alternatively, you can just use a pencil or a pen and just kind of scribble in what you want to grade your satisfaction level is for each segment, each pillar of the Wheel of Life that we're going to talk about. And just to give you an idea of what that means before I go any further, so I've just drawn another Wheel of Life here very quickly for you. So when I ask you or talk about these questions that you can kind of go away and have a little bit of a think about, and you want to rate how happy you are with each segment, how fulfilled, how positive, how abundant you feel in each segment is, I want you to score it. So if it's absolutely perfect, there's no work that needs to be done in that area of your life, you are absolutely happy and content to the maximum you could possibly be, then you will colour in the whole segment, okay? If you are partially happy but there's a lot of work that needs to be done, then you might just colour in 10% of it. If you're sort of halfway there and you're feeling, yeah, I've done quite a lot of work on this area of my life, I'm quite happy, but I know that there's more to do, there's more to come, then you might just want to go like halfway. So that kind of would look like potentially something like this. So this segment is sort of coloured in very roughly all the way. This one, you know, possibly sort of shows about a 50% contentment in that area. This one maybe shows about 10%. This one about 75, this one again about 50, and this one maybe about 25%. So your Wheel of Life could end up looking like this, okay, just as an example, and that's great, because if you're 100% happy and content, that area of your life is not something you need to be working on. Just maintain that level of happiness and contentment. If you are not reaching the full capacity, and it clearly shows you there's a little bit of a gap in improvement, that will highlight to you that the areas of those areas of life that you want to be working on. So how do we ascertain how we feel? So I've actually got some questions for you, just to think about. You don't have to like specifically answer these. These are just to guide you into sort of thinking, well, how do I feel about that area of my life, okay? So some will be relevant to you, some will not be relevant to you. It doesn't matter. Just take the concept as we go. So the orange section is the physical section. So this is like how physical do you feel about your life? As in, do you feel healthy? Do you feel like you eat well, you exercise well, you've got you're not really suffering from any diseases or disorders, you feel physically good? This is how we're going to kind of work on this section, okay? So for example, you've got a really good diet, it's tailored to what you need, and you feel happy about your diet, okay? So something to consider. You do regular exercise, you move your body, you feel like you've got good flexibility, okay? It might be that you manage like your proactivity. So, you know, you get up and you move around quite a lot during the day. You don't just sit at a desk all day and then go home and just sit. You know, how proactive are you? How active are you? And do you spend 80% of your time eating well and then allowing yourself a little treat? That 20%, do you have that nice balance of eating well but also, you know, having a nice little treat, a meal out, something like that? Do you get enough rest? That's really important. Do you get enough sleep? Do you get enough rest? And rest could be like sitting on your lunch hour and just doing a 5-minute meditation. Rest could be enjoying that cup of tea, sitting in the garden if you're at home, just getting a bit of sunlight, getting a bit of daylight, and just taking time to just breathe through whatever's gone on for you for that day. It could be that if you're at work and you're on your lunch hour, you just take yourself off, maybe go sit in the car for 5 minutes or have a little walk and just kind of rest your mind from all the busyness that we are surrounded by on a day-to-day basis. And also, how much time do you give your body to heal? So if you haven't been very well, do you give yourself enough time to heal, ready for you to be able to continue at a much easier sustained pace? Because sometimes we get poorly and we have this rush, we have this guilt, we have this should be here, should be there, should be doing that kind of approach to life. We don't always give ourselves enough time to heal. So I want you to kind of think about your whole physical well-being. How physically well do you feel? And then score that in your segment. Colour in the whole segment if you feel absolutely fighting fit. And if you feel actually there's work to be done, I need to work on my diet, I need to work on my exercise, I need to work on my sleep, I need to work on my relaxation, then maybe you want to adjust your score accordingly. Okay, so the next segment we're going to look at, okay, so on your wheel, get the right one for you here, is the financial section. Now this is like, how financially happy do you feel at the moment? Do you know that you've got money in the bank for a rainy day? Do you save well? Do you spend well? Do you have a plan for like your future, looking after your future finances? Are you happy in your job? Are you fulfilled in your job? Are you earning the income that you want to be earning in your job? Do you have any debts that you want to clear? Have a real kind of think about your financial situation, because we're all very, very different. We all live very, very different lives. And, you know, even on a low budget, we can still budget accordingly. You know, we can still save a little bit of money. We can still be cautious on what we spend, but we can also still feel abundant and appreciative of the money that we've got. But I really want you to look at your financial health and your occupational health as in them as a blend. So like, is your career fulfilling you? Are you doing the job that you love? Are you getting paid and rewarded for it? Okay, and if you are, fantastic. Then how are you spending that money? Are you spending it wisely? Are you saving? Are you investing? Are you looking at your future? Are you living day to day? You know, how would you like to live? What would be your ideal income? What would be your ideal budget for bills or for shopping, for treats, for holidays, etc.? So I want you to really kind of think about your occupational, your financial segment and kind of score that accordingly, okay? Then we're going to look at the intellectual segment, which is blue. So this is kind of like thinking about what you want out of your life, what kind of lights you up. Do you have things that you're inquisitive about? Do you want to read more? Do you want to travel more? Do you want to see more? Do you want to learn more? Do you want to feed your soul? Do you feel like you want to do things in your life but you don't know how, and maybe the time is coming for you to go and learn how to do those things so you can live your best life? Do you feel that you socialise and you spend time with people that lift you up, that stretch you? Would you like to spend more time with people that have similar interests to you but you haven't yet found them in a friendship circle? Would you describe yourself as a lifelong learner? Do you love to learn new things and see what's out there in the world and stretch your mind? Okay. So have a real good think about your intellectual zone. Not everybody has that as an interest, but for some people it's part of their makeup. They love to learn, they love to experience new things, they love to go to seminars and workshops and watch amazing documentaries and read fantastic books and travel the world and experience things that really kind of they find naturally inquisitive, and they go and explore. So I want you to have a think about your intellectual zone. Are you fulfilling your soul? Is your soul yearning for more, but you don't know what it is? So maybe it's something that you want to look into in the future, but give yourself a score in that segment, okay? So then we're going to go on to the emotional segment, which is red. And this is all about how you feel your emotional health is. You know, are you feeling that your life is balanced? Are you feeling happy? Do you feel content? Do you feel secure? Do you feel emotionally capable and resilient to what comes your way? Do you feel you can handle challenges? Do you find it easy to adapt to situations that change? Do you feel you can handle your emotions? Are you a naturally negative person, or are you a naturally positive person? Or do you find you sit in that middle zone, that realistic zone where you know something's not great, but you're not going to let it pull you down, but you're going to take action, you're going to be positive to change it? Where do you sit at the moment, and where would you like to be? Would you like to be feeling stronger, more capable, more assertive, more able to handle your emotions? Have a really good think about that. You know, what is your support system like? Do you have good friends, good family around you that help to support you when you're feeling a little bit emotionally vulnerable? Really kind of think about that and then score that segment. Okay, then the next segment is the social segment, which is green. And this is all about relationships, social relationships, okay? Do you feel you can handle conflict in any area of your life, whether that's at work, in a networking group, at a gym, in a gym class, school mums in the gates, anywhere where you are surrounded by other people in a social setting? Do you feel you're capable of handling conflict? Do you feel that you have the understanding, the empathy to really grasp other people's emotions as well? Can you read other people's emotions well, and do you respond well to them? Do you have at least one really, really good friend that you can confide in, that you can talk to, that understands you? And also, are you aware of your own boundaries? Do you put boundaries in place so you don't let people take advantage of you, and that people don't push you too far? Do you have good, healthy boundaries in place so you can stay true to your values, or do you let people walk all over you? So think about your boundaries. Also think about your social calendar. Are you a real social butterfly and you're always out and about, talking to different people, having lots of little relationships, but feel like you don't have those deep, meaningful ones because you've got lots of superficial, surface level relationships? Or are you somebody that's seeking and yearning for social relationships, but you're a little bit of a loner, and maybe there's a fear factor in there, maybe there's a self-esteem factor in there? So I really want you to think about your kind of social life, as in how much you partake in a social life and how much you don't partake, and if there's something that you want to change, if there's a direction you want to move into, if there's a calling, a yearning to be with people more in a different kind of setting than you are at the moment. So I want you to have a real good think about your connection with other people, the feeling of belonging, the feeling of community, the feeling of support, the feeling of network, and I really want you to kind of think about that segment and how you would score that segment, okay? And then we have the spiritual segment, which is purple. This doesn't necessarily mean religion at all, okay? Spiritual could mean religion to you. It could mean just how you feel, your inner self, your inner knowing. It could be that you are sort of in feeling with the universe. You kind of feel the universal energy that's around you. So take the spiritual kind of segment in the whichever way suits you best, okay? But on a spiritual level, how does your soul feel? Do you feel nourished? Do you feel happy? Do you feel content? Do you feel that you have a purpose in life? Do you take part in meditation? Do you take part in that kind of stillness where you can just sit and mull over your day and allow thoughts to come in and allow thoughts to leave you? Do you find that you love just to sit maybe outside in the garden or for a walk in the park, and you can just let all the worries just go and you can just feel that sense of calmness? You know, how do you respond to that inner message that you feel? We know that anxiety, for example, is where we typically are in conflict. We're in conflict with something that we either want to do or need to do, that is future based, okay? And that conflict normally comes from dis-ease. So you feel dis-eased about something, and that could be coming from a place of fear, it could be coming from a place of overwhelm. So from a spiritual perspective, how do you feel going about your daily life? Do you feel any sense of anxiety, or do you feel quite calm? And is meditation and relaxation the way that you kind of hold that calmness? Do you tune into that quiet self and that all-knowing self where you know that you've got you trust you will make the right decisions? And do you believe that you have a really good sense of purpose? Because when we have a really good, strong sense of purpose, we have a reason to rise, okay? We have a reason to get up, to get dressed, to go out, to do whatever our purpose work is. When we are not doing our purpose work, everything is like walking through treacle. So I really want you to think about your spiritual side, how calm, how content, how aligned you feel to your life and what your dreams and your visions are, okay? So, last one, have I got all of these? Social, so we've done financial, intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, and we've done physical. So we've covered all of those segments, okay? Now, again, like I say, I want you to have a little look. If you've done this exercise, look at how you've coloured in the segments, and on the segments that are feeling like not quite reached the end, so it's like maybe 50% content, what's a really good thing that you can do is just have a really good visual look at this. So maybe make yourself a cup of tea, have a sit down somewhere that's nice and comfortable, nice and cozy, where you feel safe, and kind of just mull over the visual aspect of your colouring in of your circle. And look at each section. Let me just pull this back up. Look at each section and really sit and have a little bit of a daydream, okay? You've already considered how each segment feels to you at the moment, okay? But we will have identified, if you'd have coloured them in, which segments actually need some work, okay? And on the segments that need the work, what do you think you can do to make those segments improve and become full for you, okay? So have a good daydream over that. Ask yourself, what can I do to make these segments full so I am 100% content and happy with each of those areas of my life? So that's kind of your exercise for the week. If you have any comments, if you'd like to share anything with me, please pop them below, because it's always really, really interesting. But I want you to think about what you can improve. I want you to think about those areas that are looking really good as well, because something in those areas is working really well for you. And it's also evidence that you can have areas of your life that are just spot on, that are just perfect, okay? And for most people, there will be a couple of segments that are like that, are absolutely spot on and perfect. And also for most people, there'll be areas that are not scoring very high at all, that are just you're not satisfied with at all. That is also really normal. I'd like you to think about what surprises you've kind of noticed, because sometimes when we do these exercises and we actually put pen to paper and we think about each area of our life and we basically score it, when we see that coloured in, it can sometimes go, oh, didn't realise that I wasn't satisfied in that area as much as I am. Sometimes we just are in that motion of continuing to go forward and not really spending the time doing the work, but sort of knowing that we're not particularly happy in that area, but not doing anything about it. So sometimes these exercises are great because they can spur us on into action, which then gives us the opportunity to change that projection, change your reality, transform your life in that area. So it's a really, really good exercise, and like I say, have a think about what changes you can make in those segments that are scoring quite low. Simple changes, doesn't need to be complicated, just simple changes. What simple changes can you make? Maybe come up with 3 per segment that you know that if you implement those changes that you will see a much better score if you were to repeat the exercise. And if you're stuck at all and you're feeling like, do you know what, my life isn't going how I want it to go and I'm stuck and I don't really know what I need to do, then have a little look at the information on this page about the 40-day miracle challenge. It's a transformational mindset program that I've created that is 40 days of me coaching you on all the different aspects that you can imagine that actually work amazingly in line with the wheel of life. You know, we address limiting beliefs, we address self-esteem issues, we address all the old stories we've built up over our lives of what we can and we can't do, or what we think we can and we can't do. We look at all different areas of the life. So if there's something that's really, really bothering you, or you've done this exercise and you've gone, need to do a lot of work on myself, then contact me. We can have a free discovery call and you can explore the 40-day miracle challenge transformational mindset program and see if it's for you. Anyway, tune in next week for next week's session. For now, I wish you an amazing week and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Take care.